What's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at emulation on the Mac. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that I love retro games. I grew up playing games, and it's a very nostalgic and comforting activity for me. Although I do buy some older games physically, I don't consider myself a collector. I acknowledge that those are the most true ways to enjoy the games, but at this point in my life, I prefer convenience when possible. With that being said, you saw how I use the analog pocket for emulation, and even more recently an Android phone. Other things I emulate on include my PC and Steam Deck, but I wouldn't say I use those that often. One device I use daily though is my MacBook Pro. This is the 14-inch base M1 Pro, and it's been my daily driver for almost a year now. It has 16 gigabytes of RAM and about half a terabyte of storage. This thing can handle all the editing I do, multitasking, and even gaming on eligible Steam games that are available on Mac. So I don't know why it took me so long to put the two things together, but I was like, why don't I just use this as my emulation station? So I did. This project. I say project, but it's not. I just like calling it that because it makes me feel less guilty for buying things. But this project got me excited. Before I took the steps to see if my device could handle what I wanted, I YouTubed it. Because I'm an adult and it's smart to look things up on the internet before asking others. And lo and behold, yes, this MacBook can handle surprisingly a lot. I started by recognizing my lack of storage on the device. As my daily driver, I use the storage on this thing pretty generously, so to mitigate that, I wanted to buy an external drive to store all the big memory items. At first, I was going to get a small SSD that I could plug in and just have Velcro to the top of the case of the MacBook, but then I was like, we live in 2023, I can just get a thumb drive. I knew I didn't want anything too long sticking out, and there's some really low profile thumb drives out there, but not many that are USB-C. So I got this 256GB Samsung USB-C thumb drive that had a fairly small profile, and boom, I spent money, and I didn't need to again. But it is multi-purpose, and I can use it for other devices, so even though I won't, there we go. If you've messed with emulators before, you know the deal. You download the software for the specific platform, this being Mac, and then you organize to your heart's desire. My goal was to continue playing the games that I emulated on the Pixel 6, so I initially downloaded DuckStation, Dolphin, and Aether SX2. I later got the urge to play PSP, so then I downloaded PPSSPP. That is so annoying to say. The setup for these emulators was the exact same as it would be on any other platforms like Windows or Android. The only thing I had to be cognizant of was about how I structured the files pertaining to those emulators. To keep things simple, I divided things into two groups. For the items that take less space, I kept them on the computer itself. This included the emulators themselves and the save files for the games. The rest of the items like backups, BIOS files, cover art, etc. I put on the external USB. I then mapped each emulator path to search the USB directory to find what it needed, and it works perfectly. Now that I gave the most likely unwanted explanation of how I did what I did, you're probably wondering how the games run. Too bad, no, they run flawlessly. I'll speak a little on each emulator, but then close my mouth and just let you watch some gameplay as well. For all of these games, I used an Xbox One controller and ran into no issues after remapping the controls correctly. I also ran these with OBS in the background and not hooked up to a charger either. If I had a save state for any of the games on another device, I went ahead and dragged those over as well so I could just continue my progress. If you hear me mention 3 or 4 times when referring to a game in resolution, that just means I ran the native resolution multiple by that number. So I did push this MacBook pretty hard for most of these emulators. One thing I want to mention before I get into the specific emulators is that I also have OpenEmu. Think of this as another type of RetroArch for Macs. I use these for cartridge-based games like GBA and Game Boy. You can use this for higher-end systems, but I rather have the dedicated emulator for things like that so I can modify them independently. So I will show some GBA gameplay, but just know that these games will run on like anything, and they're not really in my scope when initially starting this project. I did the bunny ears thing, couldn't say that. First up is DuckStation for the PS1. PS1 games aren't that hard to emulate nowadays, and you can run some pretty high resolutions on them with lower end hardware. I didn't have any save progress for these games, so I had nothing to continue from, but you'll see me playing Tekken 3 and Crash Bandicoot. I never have the desire to push emulated games to crazy limits, but more so ones that maybe have marginal improvements. I could easily push the resolution to 6x for 1440p and would have no issues at all running this enhancement.
You win. You lose.
Following DuckStation is PPSSPP. I'm just going to call that PSP squared. Like I mentioned before, this emulator came last, and that's only because I went down a rabbit hole of Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, and I was like, damn, that game was fire back when I used to play it. It's alright now. I'm not as familiar with PSP squared as I am with something like Dolphin, so when I went to change the visual settings, I didn't see anything and thought, oh no, I have to play it normal, but then realized you have to start the game before you tweak things, so whoops. I ran these games at 3x or 4x for 1080p and had no issues whatsoever. A lot of people like to run God of War because it's a more demanding game for the PSP, but I don't want to, so I didn't. You can see, however, that Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops seems very choppy, and that's because the native frame rate for this game is locked at 20. So unless you have some graphical mods, you're gonna have to get comfy with that.
2004. Yeah. What up? Huh? What was that? Huh?
Next up, we have the heavy hitter, Dolphin. Dolphin on Mac is awesome. It's as feature-rich as the Windows counterpart, and it can run almost anything on GameCube and Wii. I had a plethora of games that I've been half playing, so I dabbled in quite a bit of them. For the most part, I'm running these games at 4x for 1440p. Some games are a little choppy at first, but after the first 30 seconds or so, the frame rate settles down.
Versus Xianghua. Her graceful
Here I come!
Battle 1. Fight! Battle 2. Fight! Final battle. Fight!
Just kidding! Here's another!
Lastly, we have Aether SX2. Before I did open search research, because I'm an adult and people should always look for answers before coming up with an answer. No, but in all seriousness, before doing any searching, I don't know why I didn't think the MacBook could handle PS2. Then I realized if a 4-year-old Android phone could do this, then why can't the MacBook? But then I was like, well, is it even optimized? And let me tell you, it is. The Aether SX2 setup is simple and straightforward. You have the BIOS things like the other PlayStation consoles, but then it's just setting up and playing. If you want to get more cozy, you can add cover arts for your games, but that's strictly aesthetic. I did run into a weird bug where my MGS2 cover art doesn't display even though it's linked, but whatever. These games run amazingly. I initially ran them at a native resolution, but then bumped it to 4x for 1440p and noticed no frame drops. I don't really take it too far with the resolution because without additional texture packs, I personally don't notice a graphical difference. I may start dabbling in texture packs in the future, but I could care less for them now. You'll notice that MGS3 will have some screen tearing regardless of the resolution, but you can fix that by enabling VSync in the Aether SX2 settings.
Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Don't underestimate Earth.
Hey, what do we play to there?
You can compete against your friends or the computer.
Now, this is a serious one-on time to fight. Prepare to die! I sure hope you're ready. I'm going down! Prince of all Saiyans! Freeze!
Alright guys, so that's my video, bye. No, to sum things up, I'm very pleased with emulation on this MacBook Pro. I have yet to try something like PS3 on it, but I also don't really feel the need to. I've heard the PS3 is still not the most seamless emulation experience on Windows, so it'll probably take a little bit for it to get better on Mac as well. So I'm gonna wait for that, and probably still not do it. I've loved using this device for emulating, and I think I'll continue to do so. The battery life is great, the screen is awesome, the controller compatibility is there, it's just great all around. I can go to any location, whip out a controller, and just get some gaming in. I understand that you can do this with literally anything, but the fact that I can do it via my productivity device and not have to use an additional device apart from a controller really makes me happy. I'm curious as to what you guys think of emulation on Mac. Were you on this wave before I was, or did I give you a reason to try it? If you are into emulation, what's the main device you're running for it? Also, are you like me and continue to change the device that you're running emulation on? I read all the comments and reply to most, so feel free to drop something down in the basement. If you like this video, please hit the like if you're a decent human. Or not a decent human. If you're a human in general, consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, thanks, bye.